The action, Celtic against Raith Rovers in the 5th round of the Scottish Cup with Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Welcome to Celtic Park for the day's final 5th round tie between the holders and Raith Rovers of the Championship. Both looking to join Hibs, Dundee, Livingston and St Johnstone in the quarter-finals. Everything points to a home win, but Raith will dream they can cause a massive upset, just as they did the last time they beat Celtic all those years ago in the League Cup final. 16 games have come and gone since then, most of them in cup competition, and no further Raith victories. Could this possibly be the day? It does seem unlikely, but as Celtic break out the huddle, Raith Rovers lined up all in red. They've changed it this evening for the visit to Celtic Park. It'll be Celtic who will get us underway. Luke McCowan taking his place in the centre circle. They'll go from left to right. It's I think probably the first time Callum McGregor and Scott Brown have been the captains at Celtic Park in the same day. Scott Brown, the other one, of course, Raith Rovers skipper, and McGregor placed just behind McCowan as we do get underway in this last of today's Scottish Cup ties. And a different look to this Celtic side as Dane Murray and Jeffrey Sloop get early touches on the ball packing. I suppose it is important. No, Sloop played a few minutes in midweek, but important that these guys get an early touch and get themselves settled into the game.
Yeah, listen, individually they're all good players. You know, that's why they're at Celtic. But it's then when you bring them into the team, it's about building relationships and the rhythm that you want, especially when a team drops off. Most of the play will start from the back forward. It'll be really interesting to see and just see him dropping into midfield into the same kind of almost role as Greg Taylor. So that's no change from that perspective also.
It's back with Liam Scales, who actually made his debut against Raith Rovers in the League Cup tie in September 2021. They also played each other in the Scottish Cup that year, and that was the last meeting between the sides. A 4-0 win here for Celtic on that day, and Scales was on the score sheet along with Giacomakis, Maida and Beatong. So here's Murray, who, as Brendan Rodgers pointed out, has already faced Raith Rovers with Queen's Park this season. Ralston in an advanced position, slides to cut it back into the 6-yard box. Maida couldn't bring it under control, does break for Kuhn at the edge of the box, not far away. The referee's pointed for a free kick against Celtic in any event, but my goodness, that was a blistering effort from just the edge of the box by Nicholas Kuhn. As you say, Packy, does feel like maybe he's still, despite all he's done this season, that he's got a point to prove out there.
Yeah, I said it before the game, in the build-up to this, that I just seen it, watching his mannerism when he came on, and obviously scored a fantastic goal, and he could have another one. And just even at the end of the game, you know, he's saying, "Listen, I want to be in this team. I want to be a starter. I don't want to play second fiddle and that." But that's going to be tough. He has to settle himself down and realise that he will play lots of games, but it might be starter, it might be coming off the bench, and that's probably modern way. It's not a taken that you start and you're in that team sheet right from the off.
Be interesting to see how Maida fares in that central striking role.
Yeah. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. And, you know, listen, he's been on fire. He scored goals, and his pace is incredible. We've seen him in the wide area, but that pace still through the middle. And as soon as Kuhn gets the ball, or on the opposite side, Yang, he will be looking to play off the shoulder. Yeah,
it's a different role, though, isn't it? It will take him a bit of time to adapt, you would imagine. I know he's played that role over the years, even for his country. He's played through the middle, but having played as the winger off the left for the most part this season, it'll be interesting to see how he does adapt. But at Celtic, as you would imagine, dominating the early possession. Kuhn tries to slip it through the legs of Easton, but Easton's managed to rob him of possession, and he goes down. But there was a foul in there against the man that Steve McGinn called the Maverick, and he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Dylan Easton, very, very talented player. I think a number of people wonder why he's never really quite tested himself a league up, at least.
Yeah, it's interesting. On the other side, also Josh Mullen. You know, when I watched him initially, his qualities on the ball was really, really good. And then I spoke to some people about him, and you look at the list of clubs that he's had and he's moved around, it's almost about attitude with him, and it's about applying himself, and that's a shame when you have that ability.
Lovely little drop of the shoulder by McCowan. Finds Bernardo, edge of the box. It's Yang inside the penalty area now. Knocks it back to McCowan. Can he find room for the shot? Good challenge in there by Brown. Just inside the box. Had to get it spot on, and he did. And Raith Rovers able to pick up possession on that right-hand side. 4 minutes in, no goals as yet. Raith Rovers just looking to make life as difficult as possible for Celtic in terms of closing them down, as they did do to Luke McCowan there.
Yeah, well, you have to be really switched on when you're up against the quality of Celtic players, and the early start is so important, making the right decisions, concentration, relationships we talked about it with Celtic, but also with Raith Rovers in the back three. They've got to say, well, who comes with Maeda, who drops off and gives a bit of cover.
It's always interesting, I think, seeing teams go to a three at the back against Celtic. I can understand why they do it in terms of getting extra numbers in the defence, but given that you are playing against a central striker, it almost at times feels that there's two players kind of marking no one effectively.
Yeah, well, a lot of teams, listen, Al, you've seen a lot of teams, they will push maybe somebody into midfield or follow somebody into midfield because they know they've got behind them two other players that can fill the gaps, and that then allows them to go and press really early and really quickly and stop the ball getting into feet and that. But you're right, it almost gives you less of a man in midfield when an open play to either build the game or press the opposition.
Pretty much a 5-4-1 for Raith Rovers as they work hard to close Celtic down. A little nudge there from Doherty on. Kuhn was saying to you, Packy, before the game that Jordan Doherty comes from good stock, the same club in north of Dublin that produced some legends like Liam Brady, Johnny Giles. Here's Maeda with a chance, opening goal! Picks it up just inside the box and strokes it home, and it doesn't matter where he plays, he still finds it back in the net. It's Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, listen, he was a little bit lucky to get I think it was Bernardo that came in and stole the ball off somebody that sort of can almost hit against him and went right into his path, and he was clean through, and all he had to do is pick a spot, and he did it so well. Betted round Josh Ray in the Raith goal to give Celtic the lead, and he's on fire at the moment, the amount of goals he's scoring, but you can't allow him to get into that sort of almost position and nobody able to confront him and make it difficult for him. But Celtic get the goal, and this could be a long evening. I think we're into the evening more or less for Raith Rovers.
Yeah, it really could be a 19th goal of the season for Dies and Maeda, and here they come looking for more. It's McCowan cutting it back there, looking for Bernardo. It's not behind by Mullen. It's going to be a Celtic corner, and as you say, Packy, he is on fire. That's 8 goals in his last 10 games for Dies and Maeda, plus 4 assists. His numbers are just incredible just at the moment, and that's including at the highest level in the Champions League as well, as McCowan prepares to take this corner kick from the right hand side. He plays it short to Kuhn, who then lays it back to McGregor, edge of the box. He's going to go for goal, and it's off the crossbar. So close from the skipper. Oh, we've seen him score a few beauties this season already from distance, and that would have been another to add to that. But so unlucky, a couple of inches too high off the angle of crossbar and post in the end as Ray was beaten, and it remains after 7 minutes Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
That was a beautiful strike from a real technician. Ball comes in. He was well out, actually. He was probably about 25 yards out, but onto that left foot, and he didn't curl it this time. He hit it with pace, power. It just dipped at the end and just came off that corner of crossbar and post and goes to safety. But again, you cannot give that man the room anywhere around the edge of the box because he's got the ability to quickly get out of his feet and get a shot away.
Yeah, well, it was Maeda and McGregor who got the goals against Kilmarnock in the previous round, and both of them almost on the score sheet in the opening 8 minutes here, but McGregor denied by the frame of the goal. It was not too far away, and Celtic already purring here, despite the 9 changes to the starting lineup. It hasn't made any great difference, and Raith Rovers, as Packy says, already look like they could be in for a long night, because if they bring their Champions League game, as Brendan Rodgers has asked them to, and they will look to rack up the goals again. They didn't take their foot off the gas really against Dundee during the week, and they're starting with a really high tempo here as it's Ralston out to Kuhn, right hand side. 3 players around about him, he dinks it in between them. McCowan tried to lay it back to him, but Raith Rovers managed to get it back to Ray. Slices his clearance out to this left hand side. It's kept in by Easton and knocked forward by Dick. Bernardo will go up and win that ahead of Brown. Scales then back to Dane Murray. Barry Robson at the edge of his technical area, desperate to try and get his players up the park, but they're sitting in pretty deep just at the moment. They're very wary of being caught in behind as Celtic have it on the halfway line. It's played square by Murray to Scales, and now it's Bernardo. A rare start for him recently, has found himself on the bench more often than not, having largely started in the early part of the season. Here's Kuhn dancing in from the right. He's giving it away though. He's looking for McGregor. It's picked off by Gullen, but Celtic look snapping around Dylan Easton. 5 players around Dylan Easton there, and they've got it back in Raith Rovers' defensive third. This incredible desire to win the ball back from Celtic, despite that 1-goal lead. They want more, and they want them early, as McGregor finds McCowan and gets it back once more midway inside Raith Rovers territory, out to the left hand side for Yang, trying to lose his marker, and then curls it into the box, but straight into the gloves of Josh Ray. 10 minutes just about to tick round on the clock, and it's already Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, and I think most of the possession is with Celtic, and you were right to describe that. 5 players going hunting the ball, that counter press, and that's something probably most of the championship teams don't come up against on a weekly basis. Listen, they've got lots of experience in there. They've Hanlon, Stevenson, they've been around the Premier League, but they're now down at a lower level, and when you go out of the habit of maybe playing higher tempo, then you're not used to it. And I'm sure they've been telling them, by Robson, have been telling the players, but when you come up against it, it's something extraordinary when Celtic, real Celtic players with ability, also add that counter press into their game, and they do it so well.
Jamie Gullen seemed to land awkwardly there. He's limping quite heavily, the striker. I think he slightly twisted his ankle as he came down from the aerial challenge. He's back on his feet without having required any treatment. Hopefully it's one he can run off, because he won't want to come off this early in the game. But he and his team are having to defend for the most part. There's their manager, who's spent a couple of years here as a player between January 2008 and January 2010. He won a league and a League Cup, but not the Scottish Cup. And well, he certainly have his work cut out to win the Scottish Cup as a manager this year at least, as Scales picks up. Celtic looking to defend the trophy they won for a record 42nd time last May. Currently holders, of course, of all 3 domestic trophies, as Kuhn is closely watched there by Stevenson. Gets it back to Ralston, and now Murray. Talking of Celtic defenders, I noticed Christopher Ayer was in attendance back to watch his old team on this Scottish Cup evening. Here's Bernardo, about 15 yards inside the Raith half. Gets it back to Murray, who was brought back to allow Stephen Welsh to go out on loan. And he'll be hoping to get a fair bit of game time. Dane Murray. Out it goes to Yang, left-hand side, angle of the box. Pushes it forward for Sloop. Thought that Ewan Murray in that case could have just seen that out of play, but he opts to slide it out for a throw and over on the far side, which Sloop takes what looked like a foul throw. The referee allows it to go because Raith Rovers have picked up possession, although they would probably preferred just to get the throw in and allow them to try and build something. As it is, they've just given the ball away again, and here's Ralston getting it from Murray and then across to Scales, about 15 yards inside the Raith half. Out to Yang, back with Schlupp, very experienced player, English Premier League winner with Leicester, and in on loan from Crystal Palace. He only played about 94 minutes over the course of this season, as McGregor picks up on the edge of the box, finds Ralston, who has to go back the way to Murray on the halfway line, plays it square as Gullen goes down again. He's struggling, Packy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's going to need treatment at the very least here, as Callum McGregor just rolls the ball out of play, having seen Gullen lying prone on the deck.
I think they'll have to make a change. I don't think treatment's going to do it for him, just because he's obviously had that little bit of maybe treatment initially, and now he's just gone down. Whatever, he's obviously twisted that ankle when he came down, and they'll have to make a substitution, and that will almost take away maybe some firepower if they ever get a chance to get up the pitch, Raith Rovers. But yeah, they're working hard. It's difficult as Celtic move that ball. They move it off their first, second touch, and you go and you think you're going to close something else. They nip it away from you. You're out of possession. Then you've got to get back in again. You've got to just almost do doggies, which we call the old doggies, 10-yard sprints, almost for the entire game. And there's a period where you almost lose your concentration, and that's when Celtic exploit space.
I think it's probably going to be Aidan Marsh. He looks like the likeliest straight swap on the bench for Raith Rovers, and on loan from Barnsley. I can't quite see the number in the back of the player.
I think it's 9, is it?
Oh, is it? Ah, well, that's not
Or 9. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
19 maybe. Finlay Pollock. Yeah, Finlay Pollock, who dropped out of the team, the starting lineup from the Dunfermline game, but that would I would imagine require a bit of a shot. I don't think he would go play as the main striker. I could be wrong. I don't see another
Pollock anyway.
Yeah, I don't see another obvious candidate right enough unless Easton were to go off and play in that striking role. But Gullen is still standing on the touchline as if he wants to come back on. He is hobbling back on for the moment, but it doesn't look like he's running very freely, and you'd imagine the change will have to be made sooner rather than later. Quarter of an hour in then, Celtic leading by a goal to nil. The goal came from Dyson Maida. No surprises there as Yang gets into the penalty area, wins the foot race there, but knocked out of play by Hanlon in the end. But it looked to be, but actually the ball was then played off Bernardo.
Yeah, Hanlon did well because, you know, obviously that slip in the sort of almost left midfield position, you could call it. Now he played a lovely ball over the top for Yang to use his pace. He was kind of matched, but Hanlon just read it and he got himself across. And that's what they've got to do. They've got to cover each other. They've got to almost help each other out in these situations, because Yang, Maeda, Kuhn, and also the midfielders were getting to great positions.
Kuhn wins the header from the clearance by Ray. McCowan heads it on. Maida beaten in the jump by Hanlon. Comes out to the right-hand side to Ralston, who sat out that midweek win over Dundee, having played against Motherwell. That was his first start in 9. But back in tonight as Bernardo's fouled midway inside the Raith Rovers half.
Yeah, there's not a lot of space in there for Celtic to operate, because obviously it's almost like 11 players counting the goalkeeper about 45 yards from goal, just trying to kill that space in midfield and leaving the ball maybe wide and then taking their chances with that. That's the way Raith Rovers have set up at the moment.
Here's Murray, straight ball forward for McCowan, who goes back the way to McGregor, and now Scales out to the left-hand side to Schlupp, and then back infield to the captain, Callum McGregor, who once again starts. Very, very rarely does Brendan Rodgers leave him out. Here's Gullen winning possession. He's done well there. Nice bit of footwork, belying the fact that he was down a few moments ago with an ankle injury that looked like it was about to end his game. Raith Rovers have lost possession. Oh, here's McCowan at the edge of the box, charged down by Dick. Comes to Ralston. Ralston out to the right-hand side for Bernardo. Has to check back. And it's Ralston once more, midway inside the Raith Rovers half. McGregor back to Murray, and then Schlupp, central area, back to Murray once more. Seen plenty of the ball, the young defender, in these early stages. And trying to find Kuhn there. It's just gone out of play. It was a number of years ago that Dame Murray actually made his debut back in July of 2021. He came on when Nir Beaton was sent off against Midtjylland in a Champions League qualifier, and he came on for Abada and played the rest of that game, the second half effectively of that game, and then started the second leg. And this is his first start since then, as Maida might find himself in on goal again. Josh Ray, good alert goalkeeping out of his box to head clear before Maida could lash onto the through ball. Now Raith Rovers up the other end. Murray and Gullen jousting for the ball there, but there's a tug by the Raith Rovers striker, reckons Chris Graham, the referee, and it's a free kick to Celtic, which is already taken.
Good goalkeeping there, because Maida again broke through and he was on his back with that real pace he has. Goalkeeper picked up a really good position and had to come out and use his head this time to clear. And that's his job. He's got to be alert. He's an experienced goalkeeper. He's coming in, from a higher level, and he's got to use his communication skills, but also his ability, his reading of the game, which is crucial.
Yeah, particularly when Celtic are looking to get in over the top, and Barry Robson wants the defence to push out, so he has to be on his toes perhaps, as Murray again wins a commanding header. It's Hanlon pulling it back to Josh Ray, in on loan from St Johnstone. He actually spent most of the first half of the season in goal for St Johnstone, just lost his place last month and allowed now to go out on loan.
I'm sure he'd be delighted to be out on loan, Al. You know, sitting on the bench, if you've been in the first team, you've got that experience and you've got that sort of kind of willingness to be a number one. You want to play, and that lots of goalkeepers, you know, if you go to Scott Bain, for example, he's quite willing to sit as a number 3, not play, but he's got another role maybe around the dressing room or something to do. But when you're number 1, you want to play.
Here's Easton as Raith Rovers pick up possession, left-hand side. Now Dix tries to slide it forward for Stevenson. He's given it away to Murray though, and it's picked up now by McGregor, just inside his own half. Plays it square to Schlupp, back to Scales. Murray's available once more. Good height about him, Dave Murray.
Yeah, I was going to say that when you were talking about him. His physical attributes is very, very good. Just wondering whether he's got enough pace about him. As a big guy, you're always worried about that, and that's what you're not going to be tested probably too often tonight. But up against the top players, if you can get in, I think centre halves now need pace.
Yeah.
You really need pace, because fullbacks are normally not there to cover you. They're obviously higher up the pitch, so you've got a big area to cover as centre halves. And if you haven't got that turn of pace, all the other attributes then sort of kind of go out the window.
So a goal kick to Raith Rovers, who have done well actually to stem the bleeding, if you like, having lost such an early goal to Daisen Maida on 6 minutes. But we're now 21 in almost, and it's still just 1-0.
Yeah, they'll be happy actually that, you know, they've kept themselves composed. I'm sure that's a message that Barry Robson was getting across them to. Listen, you may lose a goal, you may lose an early goal, but don't panic and lose another one quickly. So they've done okay to hang in so far. Stevenson
Headed down, McCowan challenged, and then Kuhn picks up a sliding challenge from Dylan Easton, misses man and ball. Daisen Maida in behind. The flag goes up belatedly as he gets the header on target, but straight into the arms of Josh Ray, and play will just be allowed to continue as Dick slides it forward for Easton. Challenge from behind by Ralston, who puts the 2 arms out as a picture of innocence, but he seemed to take Dylan Easton out, and it will be a Raith Rovers free kick about 15 yards inside their own half. Here's Dick taking that one, looks for the run of Mullen, who had an arm in the back of Dane Murray, who went down, but no free kick given as Mullen picks up left-hand side. Now it's Easton, back to Mullen on the left touchline almost, but 25 yards from the goal line. Now Easton forward again, that's good interplay. Now it's Mullen inside the penalty, just pokes it towards goal. Scales steps in and just knocks it clear, and then Ralston will try and hammer it forward. McCowan picks up and tries to release Maida just inside his own half now, knocks it past the defender, who is Paul Hanlon, who's able to just see that out of play for a throw in. But first time we've seen Raith Rovers up the park pack. Yeah. It was good interchange between the 3 players.
Nice ball played into the box, and the space was there to exploit, and he did it very, very well. Just he was closed down at the end, he couldn't get a shot away, but no, good play, and it gives him a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, certainly does. Josh Mullen, Dylan Easton and Jamie Gullen all involved in that move at the angle of the box on the left hand side before Mullen eventually poked the ball towards goal. It barely qualify as a shot, and Scales certainly intervene before it got anywhere near Sinisalo's goal. He's yet to make a save of any great note, but here he is playing the ball out to Sloop, the Finnish goalkeeper. And it was interesting what Brendan Rodgers was saying about him to Kerridine pre-match, about knowing what his role was going to be. Effectively would have been told, well, you're here to be understudy, you're not going to play much, but learn, absolutely. And then, you know, let's see in the future, as McCowan picks up at the edge of the box, he goes for goal, it's blocked. Yeah, in the future the chance might well come for you.
Yeah, listen, Kasper Schmeichel's come in here to play. That's the first thing. You know, he's not going to come in here to share a position he wants to play. That's the only reason why you can attract him. But obviously, from a goalkeeper's perspective, the only way that you learn is by playing games. You can learn and work hard and train and do all, keep your fitness up and all that. But when you have to make decisions and blend into the team, and you know, obviously playing the structure of the team, the only way that you can do that is by playing games, and that's always a challenge, and a goalkeeper needs that game time.
It's a loose one from Ralston. He's given it to Gullen as Sinisalo has the back pedal there, and it's over the top from Gullen for Josh Mullen, who tries to lob. Sinisalo tips it wide. Well, that was a terrific move again from Raith Rovers after a loose pass from Ralston. Good vision from Gullen to pick out Mullen, and he also saw Sinisalo was just off his line, didn't quite execute the lob to perfection, but it does force the save from the Finns on Raith Rovers corner. Celtic leading by a goal to nil, 24 minutes in.
Yeah, again, I said encouragement. They've been in the box and now got an opportunity. They've got their corner set piece, always a chance from a set piece, but that was good play. Nice little ball. As soon as the ball broke in midfield, Josh Mullen knew that he's going to try and run in behind. It was a nice pass for him and just didn't get enough on the volley.
Corner kick then from the right hand side to be taken by Raith Rovers. It's an opportunity certainly, and Mullen forcing the save from the former on loan Ayr United goalkeeper Sinisalo. In swings the corner from Stevenson, right on top of Sinisalo, punches clear, then McCowan knocks it further on. Referee thought about blowing there for a free kick, kept his whistle quiet as Yang breaks upfield, and now it's Sloop. Sloop just overruns that, allows Raith Rovers to get bodies back and win the ball back, and they are just beginning to grow into the game, but Scott Brown's given it away almost to Callum McGregor in the middle of the park. Sloop steps in and finds McGregor. Now it's Bernardo for McCowan, out to the right hand side to Ralston. Celtic coming forward looking for a second goal. Ball into the edge of the box is flicked away as far as Kuhn on the left hand side just at the moment. Infield he comes, slides it forward with his right foot, but it's a poor pass and it's straight behind for a goal kick. We've played 26 minutes and it's Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, that was an opportunity again. When the ball broke, both players, I think it was Luke McCowan that almost cleared, got to the ball first and cleared, and was it Dylan Easton that almost kicked into him and he went down, hoping maybe that the referee might see it as if Luke McCowan caught him, but the referee did well actually, maybe just to play on that instead of allow Celtic to counter-attack.
Josh Ray poised to take the goal kick. Up towards the halfway line it goes. Kuhn wins the header above Stevenson, but then Dick just lofts it forward down the left-hand side, out of play, and a throw into Celtic, right-hand side. Celtic welcome Bayern Munich on Champions League duty on Wednesday. It'll be a really fascinating encounter, and we'll bring that one to you live here on BBC Radio Scotland and Sports Sound as well. Myself and Packy will be here for that one.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, huge Champions League night. It'll be a packed audience.
Here's Yang down the left flank for Celtic, challenged and out of play over on that far side. Celtic corner, and Bernardo goes across to take that one from the Celtic left, looking to add to their tally here. Dyson Maeda, the only goal scorer so far. Celtic certainly well in command, but Raith Rovers just had a couple of sights to go lately. Here's Bernardo, flicked onto the near post dangerously, but it doesn't come to anything, and Mullen eventually knocks it out of the penalty area. But
well, they've hung in well with Rovers. You know, you lose that early goal, you say to yourself, wow. And I did say this could be a long evening, but but they've maintained their composure, and then they've just worked their way into the game, which you've got to do at Celtic Park.
Here's Kuhn, left-hand side. Looks like him and Yang have swapped wings for the moment. The ball in is too deep for both Yang and McCowan, and Dylan Easton, though, has been robbed at the edge of his own penalty area. It's McCowan back to Ralston. Ralston goes further back to Murray. Murray into McGregor, just outside the centre circle. Now Scales takes over. Back to Callum McGregor once more. A sea of red jerseys in front of him as Raith Rovers look to try and limit Celtic in terms of their options, and McGregor almost gives it away. Easton sticks out a toe, but it breaks back to a Celtic jersey. It's Schlupp back to Scales, and now Murray on the halfway line. Out to Ralston, right hand side. He's closed down by Easton, has to go all the way back to Sinisalo, who's just outside his penalty area. He plays it to Scales.
Yeah, they're closing down quite well, not allowing them to get their head up, so they hit that killer pass over the top.
Here's Schlupp, left hand side, still well inside his own half. Plays it short to McGregor, who brings it up towards the halfway line. Square for Murray. Murray now on this right hand side. Yang on the right touchline. Here he is. Back to Murray once more. Raith Rovers look like they've got better organisation about them after the shock of losing that early goal, but they have regrouped well, and well, their next, I suppose, what they need to get to back is what Dundee just failed to do, which is keep it to 1-0 up to half-time, because Dundee got to 1-0 into injury time, and then they lost that second goal to Adamida, and that seemed to be pretty much game over, and you would certainly feel the same were Raith Rovers to concede a second before the interval.
Yeah, by playing Maeda through the middle, you lose that ability of him being wide, where he makes those almost diagonal little runs, and you can play the ball over to him, and almost in between the full back and the centre half, or the wing it back in this situation. So that's gone. Yang doesn't do that, and doesn't do it enough for me, and he doesn't take in a 1v1 situations take players on enough. While Maeda's going to really turn the pace. Couldn't get, if I was Celtic, I would try to work the ball to him, maybe bypass one of the midfielders and get it out to him quicker, so he can get in that 1v1 situation like now. Yeah,
here he is. Gets the ball from Schlupp and tries to take on Doherty. Plays it to Bernardo instead. Now it's back with Schlupp, about 30 yards from the goal line. Back further to Scales, and now square with Murray. Murray will play it back to Scales, and then Schlupp takes over once more. Still just about midway inside the Raith Rovers half. They're having to go back the way again, as Raith Rovers are well organised just at the moment. Ralston out to the right hand side to Yang. Ralston back again to Murray, looking to try and switch the play, but not quite doing it as quickly as they were in the opening 10 minutes. Celtic, as Bernardo now picks up. Maeda tries to flick the ball back to him. Scott Brown steps in and knocks it clear. Raith Rovers have it momentarily, and then the free kick is given Celtic's way. Yeah, they've come to terms, sorry, just I was going to say about the Raith Rovers, they've come to terms with the two midfielders who are trying to play in between the lines. It's very, very tight for Celtic to play, but they can do it. They can play balls in there, but the centre halves are reading the situation, and they're able to step out nice and quickly. You've seen Dix stepping out there on Luke McCowan and leaving the other two to deal with Maeda, and it's working well, because that means then that the midfielders can go maybe 10 metres higher and go and press the ball a bit quicker and keep Celtic, the midfielders of Celtic, just move the ball on rather than get open up to hit the pass. Bernardo's hurt in that challenge that's brought about this free kick, and he's still doesn't look entirely comfortable. He's back on his feet though, as Luke McCowan lost this in. It's a poor free kick, poor delivery from McCowan, who's capable of a lot better than that, and it's straight into the arms of Josh Ray, who dives on that inside his own 6-yard box, and then will just allow his teammates to get up the park. 32 minutes played. It's Celtic leading by a goal to nil. Dyson Maeda inside the opening 6 minutes. As Hanlon plays it forward. It's a poor pass though, and it's easily picked up by McGregor, who will drive Celtic forward. He was very close to a second goal soon after Maeda had put Celtic in front, but he cracked the angle of post and crossbar, and since then Celtic haven't really troubled Josh Ray all that much, but plenty of time for that to change, as Dundee will testify from the other night. Dane Murray now, midway inside the Raith Rovers half, checks back the way once more. Looks like Kuhn and Yang are swapped back to their original wings, as McGregor has it and plays it short to Schlupp. The movement from Celtic has just slowed down somewhat, and Bernardo still looks like he's struggling somewhat from the challenge that went in on him just a few moments ago. Here's Yang trying to add a burst of pace and energy to proceedings. Finds Ralston out to Kuhn, right hand side, looking to get onto the left, plays it into McCowan instead. McCowan moves away from a challenge, then plays it square to Schlupp, about 25 yards from goal. Back with McCowan again. It's red jerseys all around him, but he lifts it over to Schlupp, trying to lift over the goalkeeper, and he does that, but he lifts over the crossbar as well. There's a lovely ball from Luke McCowan to find him in behind, but Schlupp just couldn't execute it properly, and it's over the top, and it's a Raith Rovers goal kick. Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, a really good play from Luke McCowan. Just he knew what was around about him, just turned almost at 360 degrees and just lifted the ball over the defence for Schlupp to run onto, and he just, I'm not sure if he was in control of what he was doing, because he just lifted it well over the crossbar.
Raith goal kick. Ray knocks it out to this left hand side, but it's straight out of play. No chance for Jamie Gillan to keep that in, and he's frustrated, but at least it looks like he's recovered from the ankle knock that very much looked like it was going to force him off in the opening minutes. He's moving a lot freer now, as Celtic have it. Dave Murray almost caught in possession there by Easton, and was closing him down very quickly, but to be fair to the big defender, he showed good quick feet and moved away from Easton, and Celtic still have it on this right hand side. It's Ralston, lifts it out to the left, it's beyond Schlupp, but it'll be gathered by Yang midway inside the Raith Rovers half.
I think Bernardo is game's over.
Curled into the 6-yard box by Yang. It's another poor ball into the box, and doesn't really, Brendan Rodgers is overly delighted by the way things are going just at the moment. Bernardo is struggling. I think probably that's what Brendan Rodgers is looking at more than anything, as if to say, is he going to be okay? He's definitely going to need some treatment here. And
yeah, he was just pointing over to the bench, and he was always making a sign to get somebody else on, and I think they're going to call down Hatate.
And Rio Hatate looks like he's going to keep up his record of having played in every game this season, and that's hardly a welcome sight for Raith Rovers, it has to be said, seeing Rio Hatate getting stripped for action after 35 minutes, but that's what looks like it's going to happen if Bernardo
I don't know what happened. Did you see what happened?
Well, it was the challenge that led to the free kick. I couldn't really see. I mean, the referee obviously thought it was a foul. I didn't see who the Raith Rovers player was that made the challenge, but it was a kind of robust enough looking tackle, and clearly Bernardo's come out second best in this one.
Yeah, he's hoping probably it's a knock more than anything else, rather than a twist or you know, twist your ankle or twist your knee. It takes a little bit longer maybe to recover from those. He'd be disappointed if he would sort of get an injury in the lead up, obviously, to the Barron game. I mean, I think maybe he's walking off quite easily, so he's probably gone off with that in mind, and Hatate will be coming on to replace him. Hatate the other night was picking some really good passes.
Oh, I mean, I said some of it, you know, his vision at times is just incredible, Rio Hatate, and he can also execute the passes. He's just explaining, I think, to Brendan Rodgers that it kind of jarred his ankle, and it was only his second start in the last 10 matches, Paulo Bernardo, and he would have been hoping to make an impression, but unfortunately his game has only lasted the 36 minutes before he's had to be replaced by Rio Hatate, and different dilemma for Raith Rovers now, but here they are in the attack, right hand side, trying to get the ball into the box, takes a deflection and its way across and behind.
I don't know what happened. Celtic there, everybody was pulled over onto this sort of almost right side. Yang went to sleep, Schlupp went to sleep, and Raith Rovers had a player wide on the right. The goalkeeper, a really good pass to him, a volley, picked him out beautifully, and they were able to break up the right-hand side, Celtic's left, and they've ended up with a corner. It was poor defensive play from Celtic, I've got to say, organisation.
The last corner from this side from Lewis Stevenson was a real test for Sinisalo, and Looks like they'll try and do something similar. Plenty of red jerseys inside that 6-yard box, in and around Sinisalo. And it comes once more. He punches again when he could have caught it, but McCowan can't pick it up on the edge of the box. Easton can't force his way through. It comes back to Mullen, who dinks it up towards the edge of the box, away by Schlupp. Then Maida gets his head to it. McCowan tries to bring it under control, but he's lost it to Easton. Easton plays it for Doherty, right-hand side. He slips it forward again for Mullen. Mullen at right-hand side of the box, and it comes away by Murray. Good clearance from the centre-back, out for a throw over on the far side, but encouragement for the visitors. 7 minutes until the interval. Celtic 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, they're getting a bit of joy down that right-hand side. They've got in a few times now. I think Schlupp is obviously playing as a left-back, but he's playing more as a midfielder left, and that space down the side of Liam Scales are exploiting it. They're getting balls down in there, and with the pace of Mullen and the quality that he has on the ball, if they keep exploiting that, they might get a good ball into the box.
Josh Ray hammers it long over the halfway line. Scales, good first touch, closed down quickly though by Gullen, but he spins away from him and plays it square to Murray. Good composure there by the Irish centre-back, and now it's Murray, but he's going to be closed down by a couple of Raith Rovers players. Took a chance there, again did well to be fair, and gets it to Kuhn. Kuhn tries to help it forward for McCowan. Dick's there ahead of him, knocks it back to Ray, who scoops it out to this left-hand side, out of play for a Celtic throw, midway inside the Raith Rovers half. 6 left in this first period, certainly of the 45.
Dean Murray there just getting on the ball, and just as soon as he's taken too many touches, the space closes up on him, and then he's under a bit of pressure. Just get it out of your feet, play it off your second touch, get it wide, and you've got Kuhn there all the time that you can actually almost miss out Tony Rolson, who's playing as an inside right, and get the ball away to his feet. Even there now, just play it, but instead he goes back on the inside, and there's more touches, and it slows the game down for Celtic.
Still just 21, Dane Murray, plenty of time to progress, but I just wonder a couple of the times he's taken an extra touch. That was kind of what got him into trouble down at Villa Park, which cost Celtic that 4th goal on the night, and it's a steep learning curve for the young man who started the season in the Championship.
He was up against Ollie Watkins that night, who's got pace and power, and he's also got a clever brain on him.
Hatate trying to feed that forward, it's cut out, but Yang gets it to McCowan, about 35 yards from goal, out on the left-hand side, back to Schlupp.
What Celtic don't want tonight is to leave this game at this stage, and if Raith Rovers have pulled something back and take it into extra time, they definitely don't want that tonight with the game coming up midweek.
No, Bayern Munich played last night against Werder Bremen, and still well clear at the top of the German Bundesliga. They will be a real quality outfit coming here, you would imagine, on Wednesday. That's a good ball out to Kuhn, right-hand side, looking to take on Stevenson. Checks back again just before he gets to the byline. Now it's Ralston, and back once more to Murray in field for Schlupp, who, as Packy said earlier, is occupying that Greg Taylor-like inside inverted full-back role. And Celtic have had to go all the way back to Sinisalo. There's a loose pass in there, and forced back the way as McGregor picks up and tries to drive his team in the correct direction as far as they're concerned. Here's Yang left-hand side into Hatate, tries to force it back through to Yang, doesn't come off, and it's cut out, and then Mullen will just help it down that right channel, trying to cause a bit of uncertainty between Scales and Sinisalo, but between the pair of them, they've worked that clear pretty comfortably. Schlupp, though, can't find Hatate. It's just a little bit loose as Maida almost latched onto a back pass there. It was cut out on its way through, though, and Celtic have it on the halfway line. Just over 3 minutes of the opening 45 to play as Kuhn is challenged well by Stevenson. Easton picks up for Raith Rovers, and then Brown helps it forward down the left-hand side, but out of play.
Yeah, I just talked about Kuhn getting the ball. A good pass from Dean Murray just moments ago, and he got into a 1v1 situation. That's when he has to show his quality then. There's no point in him cutting back again and just keeping the ball. You know, to break down this Raith Rovers team, you've got to try to get into 1v1s and try to beat players. You can pass the ball all day, they'll stay in there, they'll be compact.
Here's Schlupp picking up possession midway inside the Raith Rovers half. Now McCowan. Outside of him is Ralston, the right-hand side. Across comes Easton. Loose touch from Ralston. Manages to get it back to McCowan, no, under pressure. Now it's Scales just outside the centre circle. Well, Raith Rovers would bite your hand off for a 1-goal deficit, I think, at the interval. The way the game started here, slipped though into the 6-yard box, away by Hanlon. But it'll give Barry Robson something to build on at half-time. The adversity of having lost a 6th-minute goal to Celtic would have made many teams crumble, but his side have stayed in the game, and if they can maintain this until half-time, then they will feel there might yet be something in it for them. As Ralston again is forced back the way, closed down by Easton, and Barry Robson again waving his back 5 up towards the halfway line. They're just about 10 or 15 yards short of that as Celtic come forward once more. Hattati into McCowan. McCowan out to Ralston, halfway line. It's another touch that almost invites Dylan Easton into nick it, but Celtic keep it, and it's McGregor forward for Maida. Maida, good control, lays it into the path of Hattati. Yang couldn't find a teammate though on the edge of the box, and Raith Rovers work it clear. McGregor though gets it back to Schlupp, and now Yang once more, left hand side into McGregor, just outside the penalty area. Leaves it for Hattati, left hand side. Back he goes to Schlupp once more. Celtic looking for a really important second goal. Ralston just outside the penalty area, looks to take on his man who's Stevenson. Slides it, a great ball in, there's Maida at the back post. The flag's gone up for now to deny Maida the second for the moment. It was Yang who looked poised to knock it in initially. He missed it altogether. Maida wasn't going to miss it at the back post. Was he in an offside position? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, Celtic will have their second goal on the stroke of half time.
Yeah, I thought that Yang was offside. Both of them seemed to be in an offside position, and I think that's exactly what the referee has indicated, that he was in an offside position. They were well in round about the 6-yard box, but it was a decent play from Tony Ralston initially. Again, that's what I said, go and try and beat the player, and if you do that, then it just opens up an opportunity.
Yeah, it must have been fairly clear given the quickness of the decision from VAR to chop the goal off, or at least ratify the linesman's decision, the assistant's decision here, that he was off. 3 minutes added on. We're just into that right now. So 3 minutes for Dundee to ensure they don't lose a valid second goal.
Well, it was such an important time for Raith. You know, if they can go in 1-0 down, they've still got an opportunity in this game, and then Barry Robson can do his work at half-time, but you lose a second goal, then it would have been very, very difficult for them. So, yeah, you could say good defending, held the line well.
It was good play from Ralston, you have to say, but 2 players in an offside position inside the 6-yard box. Yang should have scored, to be fair, regardless of whether he was offside or not. Liam Dick's going to line up a long throw in here as Raith Rovers might fancy a goal back before half-time, far less settling for a 1-0 deficit from the left-hand side. Good 40 yards or so from the corner flag, but in it comes, flicked on. McGregor then gets his head to it. Yang knocks it clear, and Maida will look to latch onto that. That's good defending from Stevenson, but it's picked up by Kuhn, who'll feed Yang. Yang up towards the edge of the penalty, tries to knock it in for Maida. There is the second goal! This time it will count! Terrific counter-attack by Celtic, and just as we spoke about, Raith Rovers could not afford to lose a second goal in first half injury time, but that's exactly what they have done. Looking for an equaliser, cut up the park. Yang finds Maida. Maida finds the back of the net. Celtic 2, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, I did say it right on half-time, and you get away with the first one, and then you've got a long throw almost up on the left-hand side. You know that if Celtic won it, you've got to be really strong defensively, and they were wide open. Maeda started initially, nearly got onto it, and then the charge came from behind, and they won the ball. And as soon as that ball was played through to Yang, Maeda just kept running with his pace, got into a great position and scores emphatically up into the top left-hand corner this time.
That is him on 20 goals for the season. Is by some distance his best goal-scoring season since he came to the club. And we wondered how he would adapt to that central striking role. I think we can say he's adapted pretty well. If you're judging him on goals scored, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, listen, it was a real counter-attack from Celtic, right from the long throw from the edge of their box, one in the first header in the box, and then just continuing that counter-attack and devastating pace from 3 or 4 players.
No, that's so rough on Raith Rovers, who had reorganised well, but just not staying disciplined enough on the stroke of half-time and losing a goal that will almost certainly help decide this Scottish Cup tie. There's the half-time whistle, and just as they did on Wednesday night, Celtic take in a 2-goal lead at half-time, courtesy of a first-half injury-time second. They scored early through Dyson Maida as he swept home from about 16 yards past Josh Ray. Callum McGregor hit the bar a couple of moments later with a really powerful effort from just outside the box, but it's just a couple of inches too high. Raith Rovers just slowly managed to get themselves into the game. Josh Mullen was key to that, and he tried to lob Sinisalo in his Celtic debut. A decent save from the Finn to knock it wide for a corner. Jeffrey Schluck put an effort that was well over the crossbar, but then towards half-time, Tony Ralston slid the ball in. Dyson Maida knocked it into the back post, but he was quickly flagged offside, and it proved to be correct. The decision that was ratified by VAR to chop that one off, but only a couple of minutes later into injury time, Maida did have his second. Celtic did have their second, as a blistering counter-attack ended with Yang finding Maida inside the penalty area, and he knocked it high past Josh Ray to make the half-time scoreline in this 5th round Scottish Cash Scottish Cup tie. Celtic 2, Raith Rovers 0.
The Scottish Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Cross goal, it comes back for it.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
European football lives here.
As ever, BBC Radio Scotland has you covered.
Celtic have made it into the knockout phase.
Celtic reached the Champions League playoff round.
Over the course of the 8 games, we've qualified on merit.
And now they'll face German giants Bayern Munich.
So that'll be obviously a huge challenge for us.
Catch the first leg live from Celtic Park.
Celtic in the Champions League, Wednesday from 6 on digital radio, or by asking your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Yes, that big game to look forward to. We recorded a nice wee feature piece for that. You'll hear that on Wednesday evening ahead of kick-off. Celtic very much in course for the quarter-finals. That's expected in the Scottish Cup. Pat, I just want to speak a bit about Dyson Maida and how special, how important a player he has become. When I was doing the game on Wednesday night with Michael Stewart, he said the energy levels, it's hard to express to people just how difficult it is to keep these up for an entire 90 minutes.
The one thing that defenders absolutely hate is quick players, really quick play. And I mean, he every time he runs, he's got afterburners on, and you just can't match him. And he plays on the line. If he's out on the left-hand side, he plays on the line. He runs inside. He'll knock the ball by you, and you cannot catch him. And if he's obviously playing through the centre today, and again. And then his finishing is improving. You know, once he builds up confidence, that's 20 goals I think he scored, which is incredible for a guy who plays in a wide area. And he will play a lot more through the middle. So for defenders, he's a real handful. And I think when he came here first, people didn't know who he was really. Didn't know any of the Japanese. Didn't really know, and they were maybe had questions: is this guy going to fit in, into the way the Celtic play? Not alone has he fitted in, he's excelled himself, and he's brought something very, very different to the team. That high intensity that we talked about, that I think was missing before the Japanese, all the Japanese, especially himself and Kyogo, but he has brought it, and he's stayed here at the club, and he's continuing that role. And other players then have sort of rubbed off on that. So he's been tremendous.
Yeah, he's amazing to watch. Of course, he rounded off that fantastic move with the wonderful chip midweek. So Celtic very much in course for the quarter-final draw, which will take place after the game in Paisley. Full coverage of that one on sports scene on Monday evening. It's a 7:45 start, St Mirren at home to Hearts, as well as the Scottish Cup action that we have brought you today. We covered the one game in the Championship. It was a truly remarkable match. Falkirk 5, 10-man Partick Thistle 2. Now, Chick Young is a man that if he promises, he delivers. He told us we would hear from hat-trick hero Scott Arfield, a hat-trick on his return to the club. His first goal came inside the first minute. Let's hear from him now.
Scott, I don't know what particular adjective to use. Emotional, fantastic, you know, all the thing behind young Craig's jersey and all that stuff, or just the fact that you're back and scoring a hat-trick. What's going through your head?
No, it was an emotional week, Chick. When I came in here on Tuesday morning, there was a big decision to be made with the shirt number. And then I phoned the Gowans family, John and Sheila, and then they gave me the blessing. So obviously I wouldn't have took that without the blessing, and the club were willing to take it out of retirement. And John and Sheila gave me the blessing to go and wear it with pride, which I have done my full career, but to wear it here is something completely different and very, very sentimental. So with a performance like that, obviously getting the win, amazing day for me personally, obviously. So couldn't have envisaged it going any better than what it did. So hopefully that's testament to Craig.
I'm not putting words into your mouth, but you'll be dedicating that to him, I would suppose.
Oh, without a doubt. And two pitches along is another good mate of mine, Chris Mitchell. So you know, it's two of them that's tragically no longer with us. So as we're looking down that tunnel there, there's a connection here that's well deeper than just football. So it's amazing to be back here.
It couldn't have gone better for you. I mean, I think it's 45 seconds or something like that goal.
No, I've made a career of just arriving at certain bits at certain times and try to pass through people's legs. And I've seen so many players lace it and try and get the perfect top corner goal, which you know, there's times for that. But I just think that when big defenders, you know, they just open, try to spread and make themselves big, I think there's so many opportunities to just pass it through. So thankfully it went in.
I know you have your modesty, but Falkirk needs something to steady them after the last few weeks, and maybe that ingredient. Hopefully,
that's what I was sort of brought in here. That's what which I had conversations with John for a number of weeks, and Smudger, and that is exactly what it is. It's going to be incredibly difficult, this championship, notoriously through the whole season. You know, in the last 5 or 6 seasons, it's difficult to get out of this league. You see so many times, there's so many games in the playoffs to then get it. The second bottom team are just too strong to get there, so everybody wants that first place, but there's 3 or 4 teams that feel as if they can get it.
You'd other offers. Was this an emotional tie for you?
There was a few things that could have obviously happened. You know, there's a couple of managers that previously I've played under that didn't feel as if I could sort of get to the levels what I previously got to, and I've had so many discussions, obviously back in my corner, which I would, and thankfully this manager's gave me the motivation and you know, the trust to come here and play, and thankfully I've showed them and repaid them a wee bit.
And finally, what I did notice, Scott, was the relationship between you, the warmth and support, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's been amazing. You know, check through. You know, my footballing journey then went on to amazing things. You know, I've got no regrets in my career whatsoever. But this was the club that gave me the start. This is the club that, you know, is forever going to be in my heart. So to come back here with the opportunity, it's not done. Obviously, it's a long way to go. But the opportunity to bring back to where this club should be is, you know, it's more than just football, because I know what it means. Football club means to people.
Brilliant, Scott. Thanks.
Brilliant chat.
Yeah, well done to Scott Arfield. It's a terrific story, paying tribute to his friend Craig Gowans, who tragically passed away 20 years ago. Could Scott Arfield be the X factor that gets Falkirk back into the top flight? We know how tight the championship title race is going to be. Let's then get back into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup, and a comfortable victory for Dundee this afternoon, 4-0 at home to Airdrie. Let's now hear from the Dundee boss, Tony Docherty. He has been chatting with our reporter, Jane Lewis.
Well, Tony, how do you summarise that? You're through to the next round of the Cup. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. That was objective, you know, getting through it. And keeping a clean sheet was really important for me as well. And I thought we got the job done in the first half, and I think we go 2-0 up within 20 minutes. So I was looking for a reaction from my team. You know, we had made 6 changes to make sure there was real energy and intensity in the side, but not diminishing any of the quality, and you could see that, you know, and I was really pleased with a lot of things that happened today. So second half obviously goes a little bit flat because you're winning a game, but the objective was to keep a clean sheet And really pleased to get a few players, Lopez, Samuels, and particularly Big Joe, on the pitch at the end there. So a good day's work, and it lets us now sit back and look forward to the draw.
It was kind of a reaction that you needed to see from your players, wasn't it, after the last couple of games?
I think so, and I said to you before, you know, that you don't become a bad team overnight. There were reasons, you know, that we lost that game last Saturday here, and listen, I apologise to the fans. You know, I took that responsibility, and hopefully we made a wee bit amends for that today, and making sure that they're now sitting back and looking forward to their team being in the last 8 of the Scottish Cup.
You talk about energy. Simon Murray, I don't know what kind of Duracell batteries he's on, but my goodness, he just caused so much trouble in the first half out there against Airdrie, didn't he? He
did. He almost scores, you know, within a couple of minutes to make it 5. But then for me, what typifies Simon and the team, the mentality that I want, you know, I see him running back there, you know, and putting in a tackle at the left back position just to make sure, and I hear him, he's loud, make sure we keep a clean sheet. And that's the type of mentality, you know, that we were praised for just a wee while back there with the draws against the Old Firm and the Derby winning. And I thought we'd go back to that today, and I think it's important after last week that we build on that. You know, there's a lot of confidence comes from today's game. Good goals, you know, some good play, and the players really took on instruction. We knew it was going to be a tricky tie against Airdrie. They're a very possession-based team, so we had to make sure our press was right, and we had to make sure there was an intensity about it, and we were relentless with it. And I thought we did that, and we got the reward for that with the 4 goals.
Yeah, Lyle Cameron grabbing 2 goals. It shows that his mind is right here. I mean, the head has not been turned, which is great to see, and what you want to see as a manager.
Yeah, no surprise to me. I know Lyle really well, and listen, you've seen the ovation he got for the fans coming off, and that tells you everything, you know. And him getting these 2 goals, I took him off again just to make sure that we're protecting that Achilles, because Lyle's going to be a really important player for us in the run-in now. And listen, he's 100% committed towards Dundee, and he'll continue to be until the end of the season. How important is a cup run to you as a manager and to these players out there as well? Well, we said that at the start of the season. It was one of our main objectives, you know, was trying to get a good cup run, and we went out in the last day, the quarter-final against Rangers, the finalists last time in the League Cup. So hopefully, if the draw's kind to us, we can maybe go a wee bit further. But a cup run is really important for everybody, supporters, you know, the club, every staff, everybody, players. So we'll just hopefully now, you know, we'll be sitting back and enjoying the fact that we're in the hat and watch the rest of the games. Yeah, you'll be watching that cup run and a draw on Monday. Is a home tie, is that what you want to see come out, or what do you look for? I think it's just a home tie, you know, and that was the important one. But when this one came out, you know, I knew it was a home tie, which was great for us. And then I thought with Airdrie coming, you know, Airdrie, and particularly the momentum they built up last couple of games, a tricky tie that, but really full credit to all the players for a real level of professionalism that they showed there. Yeah, and that does give you a lot of positive vibes kind of moving forward in the league, because you want to get back to winning ways, don't you, in the domestic front, in the league front? Of course we do, you know, because we had a really tough run of games there just before the Hearts game, and we came through that really well. I think in terms of the form guide we were 5th, so we need to get back to that level of performance, and we need to make sure there's consistency in our performance, and today's clean sheet will go a long way to making that happen. And as I say, I was just pleased to get ones on the pitch that just strengthens the squad a wee bit more, gives us that wee bit more belief. But I think the players, again, I'll echo that they deserve a lot of credit for today's performance and today's result.
Well done to Tony Docherty, and Dundee Livingston booked their place in the quarter-final draw with a 3-0 victory at home to Cove Rangers. Let's now hear from the Livy manager Davy Martindale. He spoke with Kenny Crawford.
They tried to do the right thing, so I think we deserve to be in the next round, but I think 3-0 maybe flatters us a wee bit.
Goals all scored by Australians born in Adelaide. That's unusual.
Wow. Wow.
Did you know that?
Who told you that?
I did my research. But listen, Ryan McGowan getting his first of the season, important timing.
Great, brilliant. That's another goal for a set play, so I think that's us scored in the last 3 games, 3 goals for set plays. It's an area that we've actually worked on and tried to get better at, and we have. So no, I'm still thinking about that start. Big Tatey could have had a hat-trick as well. That's pretty unique, that, isn't it? No? Yeah. 3 Australians, exactly. 2 Australians, 3 goals, Adelaide.
Yeah, that's good. And Yengi, that's him up to 6 for the season. He looked really sharp when he came on. I know he's just come back recently.
Yeah, it's just about trying to get his match sharpness up as quick as possible, get him back into that. He's a big player for us. He can play off the side, he can play through the middle. I like Andy Winters, move on to Arbroath to get him the game time, but I knew I had Andrew Shinney who can play as a 9, Tatey can play as a 9, both of them can play, and Shinney can play anywhere to be fair, but Tatey can play anywhere across the front 3. Came on Wednesday, scored his goal, should have probably had a hat-trick on Wednesday, and I think he had one late on with a header, just never got enough power in the header, could have had a hat-trick today, so not delighted for him.
And finally, you're going to put the feet up and watch the rest of the ties over the weekend now?
Yeah, I gave the boys Monday off. We've been in our schedules, been pretty hectic of late, like playing Friday nights, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, so it's been all over the place. So I gave the boys a wee bit of time off, deserved, so that probably allowed me to take a wee bit of time off in terms of in the house watching football, and then concentrate on filming a week today.
Good, right, and you can enjoy the cup draw on Monday night as well. Thanks, Dave.
Well done to Davy Martin and to Kenny Crawford. A really good start there. That certainly surprised the Livingston manager. You can watch all the goals on Sports Scene tonight. BBC One, 10:20. No doubt at all, Pat, that Celtic will be in that draw on Monday evening. But Barry Robson reasonably happy with the way his team performed in that first half?
Yeah, he'll be fuming that they've lost that goal right on half time. He'll be happy that they sort of survived after the first goal went in, and they built into the game. They had some chances, but really, you know, when you're getting close to half time, it's criminal to give away a goal, especially when you're throwing high up the pitch, and that then just changes his whole team talk, doesn't it? You know, and you know, if you've got any chance in this game, you've got to hang in with Celtic. And almost take them in maybe into the last 15-20 minutes if you can, and then you might get a chance to do something. But it's a lesson, and it's a lesson hard learned, but I think Celtic will probably continue to create chances in this game now. For a period there, they didn't. They passed the ball, kept control of the game, did all them things, but just didn't test the goalkeeper enough. But I think as the game goes on, and you know, teams normally get a bit more tired, but Celtic devastating on the counter-attack with Maeda's pace there.
Well, let's get the second half action. Celtic against Raith Rovers in the 5th round of the Scottish Cup with Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Raith Rovers about to get us back underway. Ross Matthews in the centre circle, poised to kick us off once more, but it is a completely different game, trying to get back into a 1-0, and it would have been, or it is now, with a 2-0 deficit they do face going into this second period. But for Raith Rovers, what they won't want is for it to get ugly, as it did for Dundee on Wednesday, as it can do against this Celtic side when they're playing at their best. And you imagine there'll be further changes from Brendan Rodgers, bringing maybe some of his other big guns like Jota off the bench. He'll be looking to give him some more game time, I would imagine. And here are Celtic in possession, leading by 2-0, and they have the ball at the back through Dave Murray. Plays it square to Liam Scales. No further changes at the break. Rio Hatate is on for Paulo Bernardo. Jamie Gillan for Raith Rovers is still out there, despite having looked like he was going to have to go off early doors. And that slid out of play there by Ewan Murray to prevent Dyson Maeda latching onto Rio Hatate's forward ball. Here is Hatate picking up on the throw from Schlupp. Hatate plays it into the centre circle for Murray. Murray steps forward, and now it's McCowan, right-hand side. Ralston's up there as well, but it's Kuhn coming in off the right onto the left foot, midway inside the Raith Rovers half, out to the left. He comes for Yang, who got that assist for the Maeda goal, and here he is looking to try and set up something else, and he will have done. He has. Luke McCowan squeezes it in at the back post. Terrific play down the left-hand side from Yang, and McCowan got just enough purchase on the effort at the edge of the 6-yard box to angle it away from the keeper and into the back of the net to make it Celtic 3, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, good play by Yang. That 1v1 situation I talked about in the first half. Take the players on, commit them, and if you get by, get that ball across into an area for somebody arriving. And that was that man, Luke McCowan, getting himself beyond everybody else and almost in around about the middle of the goal 6-yard box, and he just outside of his foot just got his toe to it, you could say, and just helped it on his way and directed it towards the goal. And it was so frustrating for the goalkeeper because it just almost spinning away from him and ends up in the back of the net to put Celtic in a commanding position at this moment in time.
Yeah, it really is, and it is when you begin to really worry for Raith Rovers that they're that their defence and their goalkeeper could be in for a really tough second half. Some of the Celtic fans still making their way back from the half-time hospitality. Missed Luke McCowan goal coming just a couple of minutes into the second period, just as the second goal came a couple of minutes into stoppage time. So from a position where Raith Rovers would have felt they were still in the cup tie going in almost at half-time at 1-0, they all of a sudden find themselves 3 goals down, but we've still got over 40 minutes to play. And if Celtic are in the mood, Paki, which their manager will want them to be as they try and prepare for a stiffer test on Wednesday, it could get pretty dark for Raith Rovers over the course of the next 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, listen, you lose a goal almost in 5 minutes, and then you lose a goal right on half-time, and then you lose a goal just at the start of the second half. Bad periods to lose goals, you know, and you get caught out where there's lack of concentration. If you think about Luke McCowan there, he was the first to almost react, and none of the centre backs, nobody else reacted to that cut back, and he almost just got to the ball before everybody else and got his foot to it, and that's the difference at this level, to be honest.
A 6th Celtic goal of the season for Luke McCowan, to add to the 3 he got earlier in the campaign with Dundee. Has him on 9 all told, but it's Celtic's 3rd of the evening, and they look like they were in the search for more as McCowan gets back into the penalty area. Can't force it across goal. Browning's given it away to Schlupp in a poor area, it has to be said, but having to go back the way just for the moment, Celtic. But here's McGregor now, just plays it square to Ralston midway inside the Raith Rovers half. Hattati just drags it back away from Gullen, leaves it to McGregor, and now it's Scales out to the left hand side for Young. He's got a couple of assists now. Scales once more back for Murray, just on the edge of the centre circle, out to the right hand side to Nicholas Kuhn. Kuhn tries to spin away from Stevenson, gets out to the right hand side. Here's Kuhn once more, little 1-2 with Callum McGregor, comes in field, still about 35 from goal, allows Schlupp to take over, who does likewise to McGregor. Schlupp once more, Celtic looking to work the angle. Here's Yang, left hand side, slips it into Schlupp, left of the penalty area, goes down. Didn't look to be any infringement there, but it will be a Celtic throw-in on the left hand side, just about 15 yards from the corner flag. Schlupp takes it back to Scales, it goes, and then square to Murray into McGregor. You'd imagine also Brendan Rodgers would be keen to give Callum McGregor maybe 20 minutes or so off at the end of this game, as Maida spins away out to the right hand side for Kuhn. Ralston's in support, plays it into the 6-yard box, but straight into the arms of Josh Ray. 51 minutes almost on the clock. Celtic 3, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, you're right about McGregor. You know, he came off, I think, midweek, didn't he? Also took a little rest, you know, but he's so eager to play. You've just got to manage his time and that, but he just controls things, and he keeps the ball flowing all the time, and just the rhythm of the game. He ups the tempo when it's needed and slows it down when it's needed, and all good players know when to do that.
You'll see tonight's goals and this afternoon's goals on Sports Scene tonight on BBC One Scotland, 10:20 with Stephen Thompson and the crew there, as Liam Scales comes forward and looks to help add to Celtic's tally. The pass went astray. Raith Rovers have managed to pick up Dyson Maida, looking to work back the way, and it's out of play off Josh Mullen. Barry Robson.
It's a great trait, that, though, isn't it? You know, when you lose the ball, when you have a player like maybe a striker, winger, whatever you want to describe him as, but as soon as he loses it, he reacts so quickly to try to win the ball back.
Yeah, I mean, his work ethic is second to none, isn't it? And it's all very well being a top player, but if you're a top player with a work ethic like that, then you're exceptional.
And you know, all the little other misgivings that you have, you can get away with them, and the crowd will definitely let you get away with them when you see that work rate.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, you know, the fact that his end product hasn't always been the best, then that is a criticism that has been levelled at him. But I mean, 20 goals for the season would suggest that he's polishing up that aspect of it as well.
And still a long way to go. You know, he could end up with 30 goals this year if he keeps on the ratio that he's going, and that would be a phenomenal return for him.
It's a free kick to Airdrie just outside their own penalty area. Left-hand side, there was an offside against Coon. We've played 53 minutes and Celtic lead by 3-0. Luke McCowan with a second half goal to add to Maida's first half double. It's given away by Brown in the middle of the park, but he was being fouled by McCowan in the referee's view, and it'll be a free kick to the visitors right on the halfway line.
A little bit of respite. You know, they haven't had much of the ball since the start of the second half, but they take it short. I just thought that they might just take their time and get a few people higher up the pitch and play it in there. But they've taken it short and given it away again.
Yeah, possession starts heavily in Celtic's favour, no doubt, as Ralston finds McCowan short, back the way to Murray. Thinks about the pass to Scales, eventually executes it, and then Scales helps it on to Schlupp, who's done fine on his first Celtic start. Not overly tested, albeit Josh Mullen up against him has probably been Raith Rovers' liveliest player, but he'll have sterner tests, no doubt, over the coming months.
Yeah, it's not so much that Josh Mullen sort of went up against him in a 1v1 situation, just caught in that position as an inverted fullback in midfield, and then when the ball broke, that Josh Mullen exploited the space that was left, and he was more up against Scales, who had to come out and try and confront him. But no, still on the ball fine, moving the ball well. He'll be a player that he's got lots of experiences.
Here's Kuhn into the penalty, looking for Maida, headed away by Hanlon out to the left-hand side to his former Hibernian teammate, fellow cup winner back in 2016, Lewis Stevenson. Celtic have a throw-in quickly taken. Here's Kuhn, he'll be looking to get on the score sheet. Doesn't want Maida getting too far ahead of him in that particular race. He's 3 ahead of him as a result of his double here this evening. As Hattati flicks the ball for McCowan, tries to feed Maida, almost got there. Hanlon was in the way. I guess that's one of the benefits of having 3 central defenders, that you've got less space to get through there, and Hanlon was in the way on that occasion.
Yeah, used his experience and read the pass and cut it out. But I like that little bit of improvisation, something different, and just keep the ball moving. Celtic tried to do something a little bit differently to break down the defence.
Ralston sends in a deep cross. Young's arriving. Young is scoring at the back post. Brilliant ball in from Ralston, and a cool finish from Young, who sweeps it in from about 6 yards from goal to make it Celtic 4, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, he finished well on the half volley, just as it came. I'm not sure if Tony Ralston was trying to pick him out or he overhit the cross, but again the wing back for Raith Rovers just sleeping a little bit and allowing Young to get into that position, but he just, as the ball's dropping out of the air, he just hits it on the half volley past the goalkeeper, who had no chance.
Well, that's a goal to add to the couple he's already set up this evening, as there's going to be a change which looked like it was going to be made after about 10 minutes of the game. Finlay Pollock is going to come on for Jamie Gullen. But coming on at 4-0 down at Celtic Park, it's kind of the definition of a thankless task for the young man on loan from Hearts. Gullen applauds the visiting fans. Barry Robson trying to G his players up because he knows there's over half an hour left, and if there's no let-up from Celtic, the scoreline could get nastier and nastier for his side out there.
Yeah, the wing back I was talking about for Raith Rovers is obviously Jordan Doherty, the young Irishman. Again, a forlorn walk back, knowing that he just got caught out. He just didn't open his body up and see where Yang was, and just was sleeping a little bit. Probably not expecting that cross coming from all the distance that came from Tony Ralston over on the right-hand side. But that's when you have to be switched on.
Murray just swipes the ball out of play over on the far side. Dane Murray, that is, of Celtic. It'll be a throw into Raith Rovers, who are now pretty much just playing for pride and looking to find themselves maybe a consolation goal if they can possibly force something, as Sinisalo picks the ball up from Murray and plays it straight out to Scales. He'll be closed down by Pollock, who does look like he's going to go and just play as the sole striker in place of Gullen. As McGregor, though, picks up possession for Celtic just inside his own half. Atati was sleeping there, and Mullen was almost onto it, but Scales steps across and takes it back for Celtic. And now Murray just midway inside his own half. 58 minutes played, Celtic leading by 4-0. 2 in the first half for Maida, added to by McCowan and Yang in this second period, in the opening 12 or 13 minutes of it. Celtic look to rack up a few more goals and prepare for that Champions League test against the Bayern Munich as they try and earn a place in the last 16.
Yeah, and I would think that maybe Raith Rovers have to put up with seeing Jota coming off the bench. I'm sure he'll give him more minutes in those legs that he's talking about, him not being up to full speed, and that's another difficult task for Raith Rovers, especially as the game goes on. 4-0 down, concentration levels go, fitness probably, sharpness, tiredness, because they've been chasing the ball almost the entire game, and that's not easy.
Yeah, looks like Brendan Rodgers is going to shuffle his pack again. It might be a triple change coming. There's certainly Jota and Engels are being drawn back round, as is Johnny Kenny. So they all look like they're going to get half an hour here.
Yeah, I'd like to see Johnny Kenny. I haven't seen him. I missed the game up at Raith, or up in Ross County in Dingwall when he came on, and everybody said he looked quite sharp.
He looked sharp when he came on Wednesday night, I have to say. Here's Kuhn, who also did. There is a deflection and his shot, and a good save from Ray to prevent the fifth going in before the hour mark. Pushes it behind for a corner. Might have been wrong-footed by the deflection on the Kuhn shot, but managed to readjust and palm it wide, and it remains Celtic 4, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, it was a good save. Had to react quickly. Obviously, the deflection took it away from him. It was a good dive and save to his right-hand side.
So McCowan to take the corner kick from the Celtic left. And Celtic look to add a fifth goal to their tally, and it comes to the 6-yard box. It's won there by Murray. Maida will go and chase it. Did he keep it in? Yes, he did. Knocks it back to the edge of the penalty area. Atati further back the way to Sloop, and out to this left-hand side once more for McCowan, who finds Kuhn. Kuhn up to the penalty area, left-hand side, looking to dazzle the back line there. Almost picked out Maida, headed away from him. Flash back into the area, though, by Ralston. And he's taken down, was he? Was he caught? Looked like he was caught there, Ralston.
No, I didn't think there was much in it, to be honest. I think he was trying to go for the ball, and he was just physically just knocked off it. He knows that too. He's up walking back.
No great complaints from Ralston. There is VAR on duty, so they'll be having a check of that. Yeah, he might well have just been beaten to the ball and gone down in the physical contact that came after that, but that will be checked by Andrew Dallas just as we speak, as the changes are about to be made by Celtic at the next stoppage in play. Scales out to the left-hand side for Yang, who's had a pretty good evening, you would have to say. Looking to put himself in contention to start against Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Maida will miss that one, so I guess you would put Jota and Kuhn as favourites to start on the flanks, as Sloop tries to thread his way through, can't quite manage to do that. Raith Rovers will come clear. Brown out to the right-hand side to Pollock, tries to get the better of Scales, forces it forward to Mullen, he can't bring it under control. Murray takes over at the back for Celtic and just leaves it now to Callum McGregor. Triple change coming for Celtic then.
Yeah, I don't know whether he'll take Maeda off, saying he does miss midweek. Will he take him off? He's worked unbelievably hard, so he might give him a rest and put Johnny Kenny through the middle, leave Yang on, although he does need Yang, as you say, for midweek. Needs Kuhn also.
Would you imagine it will be Kuhn and Jota wide on Wednesday?
Yeah, just Jota, you know, do you take him off the bench? Do you use Kuhn?
Yeah,
or do you start with him? That's the question. He's got the qualities. I'm just worried. I would be worried a wee bit about the defensive side, and if he's not been sort of tuned into that sort of sharpness yet, or the level of intensity is needed at the level he's going to play against.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly, in the 2 games I've seen him so far, cameo against Motherwell, obviously, but starting against Dundee, he looked lively and sharp, but clearly it's a
difference.
Yes, a good 2 or 3 levels up, isn't it? Up against the superstars of Bayern Munich.
Everybody has to be tuned in against Bayern Munich. You can't get away with one player that maybe isn't quite tuned in, and even though he's got all the qualities and the technical ability, just you've got to work so hard.
Scales up to the edge of the penalty area, nodded away by Dick out on that left-hand side, and that will give Celtic a chance to make these changes. 63.5 minutes played. Here come the numbers. Callum McGregor is going to be replaced by Arne Engels in the middle of the park. Remember, Celtic have already replaced Bernardo with Hatate. Nicholas Kuhn is making way for Kenny. And Yang also coming off as Jota makes his way onto the field as well. So it's not going to get any easier for Raith Rovers in the closing 25 minutes or thereabouts. As you were speculating here, Packy, looks like guys in Maida are certainly staying on for now with Johnny Kenny. You would suspect swapping places with him in terms of you go through the middle, Maida will shift back out to the flank.
Yeah, I thought that, and that was a question. Does he take Yang off, keep him, take off? Obviously McGregor, he's taken off, and he's taken off Kuhn. All players who will feature heavily against Bayern Munich.
Here's Liam Scales. Celtic leading by 4-0 with 25 minutes left at Celtic Park in this Scottish Cup tie. Engels infield to Murray, and now Scales. Scales wearing the captain's armband, interestingly enough, as Hatate swings it to the back post. Maida across goal, is going to go all the way across goal and behind for a goal kick. Kenny couldn't quite get the touch he was looking for at the near post, and there was no takers at the back post, and Maida's header goes all the way behind for a goal kick. Celtic 4, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, listen, Maida, right hands out. We didn't say about that run that he makes in behind from that position, and again, good almost diagonal pass to him, but he knocked it across. Johnny Kenny just caught in his heels slightly, but Paul Hanlon using all his experience just to get in against him. Don't allow him to get a touch on the ball. The ball goes across the goal and out for the goal kick.
Ball bouncing around in the middle of the park. Kenny working hard to get it to McCowan, who forces it out to the left-hand side to Jota. Jota back in field to Schlupp. Was he taken down there by Brown? No, the referee didn't think so. Schlupp working hard to try and get it back. Celtic do have it back. And it's Arne Engels picking up in the centre circle and plays it just to his right to Ralston, who tries to slide it forward for Maida. Didn't quite get that pass right. Raith Rovers pick up possession in the left back position. It's Stevenson forward, but intercepted by Murray, and then Engels gets it to Schlupp. Schlupp comes forward, central area, up towards the edge of the box, plays it into Kenny, left hand side. Here's McCowan in support, manages to keep it in. Lovely little bit of skill from him to keep control of the ball. Then Kenny helps it to the back post, but there's no one there. Just something that's occurred to me in the last few days. Would you expect Luke McCowan to be in the Scotland squad the next one that's announced, Parky?
Yeah, listen, there's been talk about it. Who does he replace? That's the question. Is he in the squad, or does he want? You know, he could be. He's got the qualities, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'd say so. It just occurred to me in the last 2 or 3 days. I hadn't actually heard anyone else talking about it. Maybe there has been. I mean, it would be natural if there had been, because he's adapted to life at Celtic, the step up in expectations and quality required from Dundee almost seamlessly, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. The thing is, probably because he's not a regular starter, you know, I don't know how many games has he started, but he's not one when everybody's fit. He maybe comes off the bench. Is that enough to get you into the Scottish international team?
Well, Anthony Ralston started what?
I know, but a different position. 10. I think from midfield it was just.
I know.
Yeah, listen, it's all open for debate, that, isn't it? But he's quality anyway, and he wouldn't go amiss in any international team.
And just to flag up, there is going to be a split in frequencies coming up in the next couple of minutes. I will tell you exactly when. A couple of minutes from now, I'll count you down, as it were, when it's coming up. But there will be a choice of listening. Take the Floor listeners will have to tune to 92 to 95 FM. Otherwise, if you want to listen to the football, stick with us on medium wave and Radio Scotland Extra, as the ball goes back to Sinisalo, who's had a quiet enough debut, Packy. I guess he wouldn't have been expecting to be overworked. Engels feeds it forward. Here's Jota into the penalty area, tries to square it for Kenny, just takes a deflection, and that means it goes behind him. It's not out of play though. Jota.
It is now.
Well, it is. I was going to expect him to pull that out of the sky and bring it under control immediately, but he just takes a poor touch by his standards, and out of play for a throw-in. So Raith Rovers with the throw-in about 15 yards from their own corner flag on the right-hand side. Down the right it comes from Doherty, off the head of Engels, out for another throw-in. There's a little dunt there on Finlay Pollock. That'll be a throw-in to Raith Rovers. And then knocked back to the goalkeeper, who knocks it out to the left-hand side. So, as I mentioned, there is going to be a choice of listening on Radio Scotland. As I say, it's the remainder of the second half commentary. We've got 20 minutes left here from Celtic Park. That will continue on Radio Scotland Extra only. Meanwhile, on 92 to 95 FM, it's Take the Floor with Gary Innes. That gets underway shortly. That'll be coming up after the 7 o'clock news. So if you want to listen to football, make sure you're tuned to Radio Scotland Extra
on digital radio.
And well, the game is well and truly over as a contest, but it's all about can Raith Rovers maintain a bit of pride here. They've worked very hard, and clearly there's a huge step up from the standard that they are used to competing at. Currently 7th in the Championship. Hasn't been nearly as good a season for them as it was last year when they pushed Dundee United all the way. It's going to be another Celtic change here as Mike Nawrocki gets a rare opportunity to take the field. And Dane Murray, I think. Oh no, it's Jeffrey Slip who's coming off, actually, as Nawrocki prepares to come on. Just a second appearance for him. He came on here as a late substitute in the League Cup against Falkirk. And on he comes for the closing. Just over a quarter of an hour here at Celtic Park. Looks like he'll go in.
Yeah, go in. Scales come left.
Yeah, Scales come to left back.
They might even play 3 at the back at this point in time, and because they've got so much control of the game.
Yeah, well, Scales is kind of staying fairly central at the moment, at least. But we'll see how that pans out. There's Nawrocki getting his head to the clearance from Josh Ray. We've got 18 minutes left here. It's Celtic 4, Raith Rovers 0. Remember coverage of tomorrow's games, and indeed those on Monday. We've got TV coverage as well of St Mirren Hearts on Monday night, after which the draw will be made, and we'll get the quarter-final draw. Celtic will certainly be in that, along with Hibs, Dundee, Livingston and St Johnstone. Rangers, Queen's Park tomorrow, as well as Aberdeen, Dunfermline. And, a few Dons fans no doubt will be slightly wary of that, given the poor run that they have been on. There's Nawrocki at the back for Celtic. They are marching on, looking to perhaps win another treble this season. Be certainly on the minds of the fans at the moment, if not the players and management. As Nawrocki plays it square to Murray. Now it's Ralston out to the right-hand side to Maida. Back with Ralston once more. And now Paul Nawrocki picks up once more. Hattati forward to McCowan and out to the left-hand side for Liam Scales. Tried to take it down in his chest and it didn't come off. He just gave it straight to Doherty. Doherty infield looking for Pollock. Nawrocki on his toes there to win it back. Here's Scott Brown though for Raith Rovers, the captain, out to the left-hand side for Easton. Easton with a chance to run at that Celtic backline. He just overruns it though, and Dave Murray easily able to pick up possession. And, Sinisalo has been a virtual spectator, particularly in this second period.
Yeah, but listen, he's just got to keep his concentration, as you know, just takes one moment, and he wants to come off this pitch in his debut with a clean sheet, like all goalkeepers do.
Here's Murray at the back for Celtic on a halfway line. Plays it to Ralston. Ralston has to come back the way to Murray once more, and now Nawrocki. Nawrocki up towards the halfway line into Hattati, tries to help it on, but in the way was Ewan Murray, and now it's out to Josh Mullen up against Nawrocki, out to the Raith right-hand side. Raith trying to get a couple of bodies into the box. Down goes Mullen looking for the free kick.
I think it was a free kick. I think he's caught him, Nawrocki. He's knocked it past him, and he's kind of almost stuck out his thigh and took him down. I thought it should have been a free kick for Raith Rovers.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Mullen was looking for it, but nonetheless,
doesn't matter.
But there was a foul.
Nawrocki didn't make any contact with the ball.
Yeah. But the assistant referee had a right good look at it and didn't see anything wrong, and so the referee, who was a bit further away, didn't give it either. And so Raith Rovers' rare chance of a 40 forwards ended. Here's Doherty at the back for them, right-hand side, just clips it forward, looking for Pollock to come across. Nawrocki's there ahead of him. Scales gets it back to Engels, who then gets it back and plays it back to Dane Murray once more. Just about a quarter of an hour remaining of the 90. Celtic in complete command of this Scottish Cup tie, leading by 4-0.
Yeah, with the amount of changes that Celtic made, you know, and obviously conversations before the game, that there might be a little bit rusty and so on. They haven't shown it, have they? Been sharp, they've been knocked the ball around. Didn't create a lot maybe in the first half, but just were clinical when they had the opportunities.
This is going to make it 32 unbeaten at home in all competitions. 29 of those victories. It's their best run since 33 under Gordon Strachan between December 05 and March 07. So a chance to equal that on Wednesday night against Bayern Munich. It's a big ask, but it's not beyond them if they're playing at their best. Here's Luke McCowan, left-hand side of the penalty. Into the back post, Maida, hat-trick! Sliding in! He just wanted it more than Lewis Stevenson in there. McCowan with the square ball, and there was Dyson Maida with number 3 for him and number 5 for Celtic. Celtic 5, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, listen, you can't stop him. Just put the ball into an area. He'll use his pace, his strength, and his desire to get on the end of it. And Luke McCowan again getting himself into the box, into a great position to take the pass, and then using his ability to just knock it across low to that back post, and Maeda just clinical at the back post.
Another terrific move ended by Dyson Maida, who's now up to 21 for the season, and it's his 50th Celtic goal. And it's been another remarkable performance from the Japanese forward. Shifted out to the wing, having started centrally. As I said earlier, it doesn't matter where you play him at the moment. As soon as the ball reaches him, it's going to end up in the back of the net. I mean, his second goal the other night, back, I know you watched the goals later. His second goal was a thing of absolute beauty.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. And, you know, they worked the ball so well, and just his his vision and his ability and his final ball. Sometimes they're the ones that have let him down maybe in the past, but he's on such high in confidence at the moment, and everything's coming off for him. And that's another hat-trick, 21 goals now. I did say, what did I say, 30 goals he would maybe reach?
Yeah.
Even surpass that if he keeps going with this at this rate.
Celtic with a corner left-hand side to be taken by Arne Engels. They play it short to McCowan and then back to Jota, but hasn't got that right. But Stevenson's given it to Jota anyway. Now it's with Hatate midway inside the Raith half. Back post ball looking for Maida, and it's nodded behind again by Doherty.
Celtic still hungry for goals, aren't they? You know, just keeping the pressure on. There's no let up from them.
Well, it was Ange Postecoglou who said we never stop, but it's very much philosophy that Brendan Rodgers is continuing as Ralston lifts it back into the area, looking for Engels, headed away from him. Luke McCowan keeps it in play, knocks it back on the left-hand side to Scales. Scales back to Jota. Jota square for Murray, and then out to Ralston. Midway inside the Raith Rovers half, 5-0 Celtic lead. Looking to get half a dozen for the second game in a row, and the second game in a space of a few days. It's Scales out to Jota, left-hand side. There's the no-look pass as Scales has continued his run forward, and that's going to be a free kick to Celtic. The challenge that came in on him from Pollock was overly physical for the referee's liking, and Celtic have got a free kick just a few yards in from the touchline. It's basically a better than a corner, this, isn't it? It's a better angle for them to fire this in. Arne Engels, we know, can deliver dangerous balls from the set pieces, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do here. We're just over 10 minutes left of the 90. Celtic looking for a half dozen. Engels from the left-hand side, poised, the Belgian with the right foot. Celtic have plenty in and around the penalty spot, 2 or 3 lurking at the edges. Engels whips it in. I think that came off the crossbar. Did Ray get a touch as well?
Yeah, he did. I think he was trying to bend it in, obviously with pace, just kind of almost headed towards the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper, because of pace that was on it, all he could do was sort of almost help it on his way. It was right on the crossbar.
McCowan then from the right-hand side will send this corner in, near post, curled in towards goal. And I think it's going to be another corner headed behind once more. McCowan will try again from the right-hand side. Jota going and offering himself short. And quite like that short one where it's worked first of all to the man closest and then to the angle of the box, where it's usually McGregor, but it's Hatate at the moment who might try and get on the end of it. The referee just having a word with Liam Scales and Paul Hanlon here about jousting that's going on inside the penalty area before McCowan can take this short corner, as he does to Jota. Then he arrows it back to Engels on the edge of the box, and well, it wasn't a bad idea, and certainly I'm sure Arne Engels in training could volley that from 25 yards into the top corner, but on this occasion it was into the stand behind the goal.
It's a hell of a take, isn't it, when it's knocked up and into the air like that and it's coming down. You've got to head it true and right on the button, and if you don't catch it, the result is high over the crossbar. But you called it, Al, didn't you? You described what the corner was going to be like.
That wasn't quite what I was thinking, because usually they play it short again to the second man who's on the angle of the box, but this time he whipped it towards the edge of the penalty area where Arne Engels was lurking. But as I say, I'm sure he scored a few of those in training, but different doing it on match day, isn't it, as he found there. Anyway, 8.5 minutes left of the 90. Celtic can afford to be trying things like that with 5 goals to the goods here against Raith Rovers, who will have to turn their attention back to championship proceedings when they welcome Partick Thistle next Saturday. Thistle themselves on the receiving end of a 5-2 defeat by league leaders again, Falkirk, winning their game in hand to overtake Ayr United at the top of the table. It's a very close run thing between themselves, Ayr and Livy, now at the top of that championship. Raith Rovers, as I say, they ran United very close. Finlay Pollock's good. I mean, the assistant's got to just put his flag up. He's good 3 yards offside as Pollock is denied anyway by Nawrocki, but you know, that was so clear.
I hate it. I would love to see them when you're that far off. It was obvious to everybody. Nobody got a touch on the ball, and he was maybe more than 3 yards off.
Yeah.
And just at that point, just take a flag up. Are you going to take away from VAR at that point? No chance.
Celtic have it then. McCowan infield for Engels, slides it forward, looking for Kenny. I think Celtic be keen for Kenny to get a first goal. A couple of times they've tried to play him in on his third appearance. Nawrocki goes all the way back to Sinisalo, just outside his penalty area. 7 to play at Celtic Park, plus any stoppage time. I don't think it'll be too much of that in this second period. Haven't been any stoppages of great note, as Nawrocki plays it short to Hatate, goes back again to Sinisalo, and then he plays it out to Dane Murray, who's again had a pretty comfortable evening, Packy. I mean, I know it's not going to be the sternest test he'll ever face, but you can only
there was just
what's in front of you.
There was just a couple of moments just in the first half. We thought he took an extra touch when he couldn't just get the ball away and slide it down to Kuhn. Remember we spoke about it in the first half. That was the only thing. Apart from that, he's kept the ball flowing quite well. He's never really been under any pressure from a defensive perspective. So he'll be happy to get back out on the pitch, after that mistake. I know he was really frustrated with that. You could see the reaction from him against Villa and coming on in that huge game. And so he'll be happy, really happy that the manager has given him another opportunity to get out here and be part of this team and part of this squad.
Here is Raith Hatate, left-hand side, just over 5 minutes left. 5-0 Celtic lead. As Murray now plays it out to the right-hand side to the hat-trick hero, Daisen Maeda. Down the right he goes, looking for Ralston, knocked out of play by Dick over on the far side. Celtic throw it about 15 yards from the corner flag on that right flank, taken into McCowan. But it was a poor pass back to Ralston. He couldn't stretch, keep it in. And so it'll be a Raith Rovers throw in deep in their own territory. And no real rush for them to take this, as they don't want the damage to get any worse. But it was, much as I had a conversation with Michael on Wednesday, the second goal was the killer in first half stoppage time, Patrick.
Yeah, I did say just a comment before, and they got away with it. The one that was offside, and to go in at half time 1-0 down is okay. It's fine, because you can build on that. You can almost try to restructure again, but you lose a second goal, the game's almost over at that point in time. And right on half time, and I see it so often, that period as teams are really vulnerable.
Josh Ray with the ball in his arms as he appears to launch it forward over the halfway line. Celtic pick up possession though again. Maeda knocks it back the way, and Murray then heads it all the way back to Sinisalo. So it's going to be another wait for Raith Rovers to get a victory over Celtic. Have to go back to that famous League Cup final win at Ibrox.
Don't remind me.
November '94.
I wasn't playing that day, but I was on the bench, and it was difficult. And Raith Rovers played well, and Gordon Dale reminds me every so often when I meet him.
That'll be why they lost, though, Packy, if you were only on the bench.
I was on the bench. It was sad though, from Celtic's perspective. It was Tommy's on his cup final too, and it was a difficult start for him. I think Fergus McCann actually went with a share issue the week after that, his first share issue, and the fans were desperate to buy shares at that point, so it had no real effect.
Well, it was the start of a new era, which they're still feeling the benefits of right now. An era that Celtic have been utterly dominant over the last 15 years or thereabouts in Scottish football, and they've certainly dominated this game. Looked like a foul again on Mullen, but again the referee allowing play to continue right in the edge of the Raith Rovers box. Cleared initially only as far as Engels, who nudges it back to Murray. Left hand side is Jota on the edge of the box, little disguised pass. Hatate will keep it in, tries to stand it up, but he can't keep it in play himself. and that's behind for a Raith Rovers goal kick. That's a couple of times though the referee.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Josh Mullen looked like a definite free kick.
Definite free kick, and he let it go, and from that point of view, if it was late, if the game was tight, then Raith Rovers would have a complaint to make, but the game's so far out of reach. Don't bother too much about it, but yeah, going to the bench again, give one or two players
Aidan Marsett's about to come on for Dylan Easton. I thought he would come on it earlier for Jamie Gullen, but that was Finlay Pollock on that occasion. But on he comes for the closing few moments here at Celtic Park. 21-year-old on loan from Barnsley, gives him an experience he might never repeat in his career, you never know. And Dylan Easton, just like most of his teammates, haven't really. There were a couple of occasions there was one good move, particularly that he, Mullen and Gullen got involved in the first period. But
the goalkeeper saved, yeah. Yeah,
well, there was the one that Mullen kind of poked towards goal. It was in the lob that.
Yeah, they had two. I think they had two chances. That one you're describing. I think the one then the ball was played down the side of Scales for Mullen.
Yeah,
and he tried to lob the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper had to produce a save.
But yeah, really they haven't been able to muster all that much. But they're not alone in that coming here. It's no disgrace. Plenty of Premiership sides come here and offer precious little as Murray is penalised for a rather robust challenge on Luke McCowan about 30 yards from goal. We're into the final minute, and Celtic will have a chance to get the 6th goal here with Arne Engels over the free kick, left of centre, about just over 30 yards maybe just a little bit too far out for Engels to go directly for goal. Wouldn't necessarily put it past him. There's a big area for him to aim at, because it looks like Josh Ray's anticipating the cross. If Engels can whip this in, that's exactly what he's tried to do, but he's gone 2 or 3 yards too high. But there was a big gap there, Packy, that Josh Ray had left. Maybe he had calculated that the chances of Engels being able to whip it into that top corner were few and far between. Well, there's no stoppage time at all, and Celtic quite comfortably progressed to the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup with a 5-0 victory over Raith Rovers, who fell victim to a Dyson Maida masterclass. Ultimately, he started through the middle and got the scoring off to the start after 6 minutes with a swept effort from about 16 yards out. That was all the scoring almost until half-time, when Celtic managed to get their 2nd goal and really put the cup tie beyond their championship visitors, as Yang found Maida on the counter-attack, and Maida stuck home his 2nd of the evening. Into the 2nd period, Yang again the provider, this time for McCowan early in that 2nd half to make it 3-0. And then just before the hour mark, Ralston with a delicious cross to the back post, and this time Yang was the goal scorer, knocking it at the back post for a 4th. And with 13 minutes remaining, Dyson Maida grabbed his hat-trick as Luke McCowan found him with a square ball right across the penalty area, and Maida sliding in at the back post to knock it over the line. An emphatic victory once again for Celtic, and no question that they were ever going to take the place in the quarter-final draw. It finishes at Celtic Park. The cup holders, Celtic 5, Raith Rovers 0.
The Scottish